Uh, okay, let me give you a little brief history of this movie. At least from my point of view, because when I first heard about this film, Yahoo.com had posted Whitewash, and I didn't know what the hell they was talking about. And then they was talking about this movie called Gods of Egypt and how it has been offensive to a lot of people, especially Egyptians, because it was pretty much an all-white cast. There was some, black actors in it, but it was pretty much left in the background or with very minor roles. And a lot of hate came from the trailer and for what it was advertised. And when I heard this, it seemed to spread with YouTube and of course Double Toasted. They also had talked about the trailer and what they feeling on the movie and everything else. And I said to myself, is it based on a historical event? Is it based on anything that I can actually look up in the history books, including global history, and say, "Oh wow, this is very fascinating"? No, it had the word right there. It said "God of Egypt." I seen the post in the train, and I said, "Yeah, I can't take this film too seriously." But a lot of people were. There were a lot of people was upset. I didn't see this much anger for a movie in terms of casting since the last Airbender, and we all know how that went. So but I wanted to see this film because I was really fascinated about this. Because I said, okay, if a fantasy movie is pissing people off, I can only imagine what it will be if this was actually an actual real event. So I decided I'm going to see this film. If anything else, I just want to see the entertainment quality of this movie. Just dwell on this film, at least trying to find something good. I'm going to say this right now. If you are upset about the casting in this film, you shouldn't, because nothing in this movie represents anything that resembles Egypt. A matter of fact, this is more of the mythological side of Egypt, where someone actually gave their own point of view in a fantasy world of what Egypt is in terms of the mystery, the mystical, the magical, and the mythical of what they feel Egypt was, if it wasn't told correctly. This is Egypt not told correctly. I can't, by all means, take this film seriously. Within the first 3 minutes of this movie, I said, "Yeah, anybody who's upset, complaining about diversity about a film that is purely fantasy, come on, guys, seriously. If anything, you should be happy it's not based on an actual event, because my God, was this film? This film is so bad, but not in a terrible way. I didn't love this movie being offended. I just love the film saying it's bad, but I still enjoyed for what it was trying to do. This film is definitely fantasy. This film basically has no factual event whatsoever. You're going in here watching a film that is purely a fantasy sci-fi type of movie, because a lot of the stuff is like, it's like 2000 BC. And anybody who's seen 2000 BC is, I could never pinpoint the actual year this was taking place, because you've seen a lot of stuff that shouldn't even exist in this time frame. This is one of those movies where a lot of stuff you cannot say with a straight face should exist in the time frame. This is a CGI special effects slugfest. Every CGI, everything you can probably see is crammed into this movie, and this is pretty much what made this movie. What's the overall plot? It's very simple. You have Horus, who's supposed to be bound by king, until his uncle came and messed that up, basically taking his eyes and banished him towards exile, while he run the muck towards Egypt. He's basically enslaving those who don't serve him, and you have people who do serve him bow down to him and recognize him as the king. That's pretty much one half. You have another half where you have, I'm pretty sure this young actor was modeled after Hercules, the legendary journey, because he's dressed exactly like like a young Hercules. He's in love with this woman who knows he's a thief but still loves him. He still sees the good in him. And after a tragedy, he is pretty much forced to work with the blind god, to not only get his eyesight back to fight this tyrant of a god, but to hopefully save his love before she reached the final gates leading to the afterlife. So you got that going on. You also have a backstory of the goddess of love, which didn't go too far because if you see in the film, those who did, you see how that ended up. So it's a lot of stuff being jumbled in here. Basically, it's like watching Dungeons and Dragons, but only in big screens in terms of the journey, the campaign that they got to go through, and the different trials and errors that they got to go through. This is basically what it is. It's a fantasy journey film that you've probably seen 1,000 times over. Now, let's get something straight. I did not hate this film. I really didn't. This is not a good movie. Don't get me wrong. But it's not a terrible movie. Not some that many people have said. It's bad because, number one, it really does rely on CGI that is simply not good. This is some of the worst CGI I have seen, and it's kind of hard considering the budget that this film has gone on to. But at the same time, I looked at this film, I couldn't help but smile at the ridiculousness that was going on here. I thought I was watching a 2-hour Hercules Legendary Journey special. It really is that kind of movie where if me and Joshkin was in the same room and we was watching this film, she would actually enjoy it and laugh at the stuff that's going on because she really liked films like this. This is a film you pretty much expect seeing on a sci-fi channel. That's how crazy this film is. And not to say that all sci-fi movies on their channel is bad. There are some that's decent, but this one here, with the money they actually made for this, the money they actually spent on this movie, I expect a little bit better than what came out. Again, it was a typical storyline. All right, well, we got to do this to save this to stop this. You pretty much have the usual cliche happy ending, which I actually was hoping they wouldn't go through because the way it would ended, and those who've seen the film, you know why? I thought it was going to end on a sad note. I said, oh, well, it's something different, but nope. One of the guys came down, granted Horse his wish, and there you go. We got a happy ending there. Pretty much a cop out, in my opinion. There are so many bad things in this film, but yet at the same time, there's just so many things that just made me chuckle. It's not going to be in my worst list, even though I know it's going to be on a lot of people's worst list. Let's get right straight down to the controversy. Again, if this was a historical event film based on historical facts or something more taken more seriously, I probably would have been more critical of this film. But the moment I saw it in 3 minutes, because again, I didn't see no trailers for this film. I simply heard word of mouth of this movie. I heard a lot of bad things about this movie. I heard a lot of also fun things about the film. But to me, I just wanted to see it just for what it is. This is one of those films that had so much hate. I just wanted to see just what the hate was all about. So I decided not to see anything even remotely based on any trailers or any commercials. I seen the posters, but I didn't realize it was going to be that crazy. I seen Ra and I seen what I thought was Obelisk, to be honest with you. And I'm like, okay, well, I can get to this. I can see where they're going with this. But honestly, this film is just a cheesy, eat your popcorn, just throw your mind out the door kind of fantasy film. It's not meant to be taken seriously. Hey, look, they're speaking English in an era that English didn't even exist. So if that doesn't tell you about the film, I don't know what does. I just sat back and relaxed and just be a part of the ride. There are some good things I liked about this film. I liked the Visionary. I did like the Visionary, although they did a very good job with some of the set pieces. I liked it how each god had served a purpose. You got the one of wisdom, the one that's fighting a kraken, at least I think so, in space. Again, this is fantasy, gentlemen. This is not based on reality. You have one of love, you have one of knowledge, one that's supposed to be the king. I actually like how they did the brothers. One was destined to be king, while one was destined to the one of the land. I actually even like this explanation that the father had told his son. He said, "Hey, listen, I didn't give you, spoiler alert, by the way. I didn't let you bear children because I didn't want you to miss the grief." And actually, him setting him up to fight to take his place. That was the test of him because there was a test that he gave his two brothers, and each one served a purpose. The test was for one to be king, but also not to be consumed by it, which was shown in the very beginning of the film, which is kind of fascinating because it was like, well, you're still king, you're not dead. Why are you giving up the crown? And it actually explains something. Give them credit for at least doing that. I mean, because it's like, it's the one thing I sat down and saw this film, like, you're still king. You're not actually dead. You're still really in good shape to rule. You still got the respect of your people. Why are you passing the crown over? And then it explains why he's passing the crown over through his father, who explains that, hey, listen, I chose him because I knew he wasn't going to be consumed. The greatest test of all was him passing it over to his son. That was his final test. So it at least explains that. Other than that, the accent, the people who's trying to speak Egyptian was horrible. I mean, there's no other, but some of them even gave up. It's hard to take them seriously when they trying to speak something like that. And it's like, nah, you better off speaking your normal accent. I know it's hard to do that in a film like this, but it just wasn't working. I just said, you know what, just forget it. You know, just go with it. You're better off just speaking your own native language than just trying to speak Egyptian, because it just didn't work. It was actually more of a distraction. But the set piece was fine. Action wise, I thought it was off and on. At times it was kind of fun. In times it was just like, let's move on to the next scene, please. It really did play out as a 2-hour episode of Hercules: The Legendary Journey, smashing together with Xena Warrior Princess, smashing together with Beastmaster, smashing together with Yu-Gi-Oh! This is one of those films that really is relying on the effects. There's no question about it, because God knows the script was not great at all, and it's definitely in this movie. With that, hey, it is what it is. I mean, it's not breaking any box office records. This film has been ridiculed. I can sort of understand why the director was kind of upset, saying the people was bashing it before they got a chance to see it. I saw it. It's not a great film, but I still had some fun moment with it. It's a fairly 2-star film. That's what it is. It's a 2-star film. And the reason is, again, I can't deny the visuals were there. The stuff that actually works. Some of the action scenes, I was into it. Some of the backstory actually worked and backed itself up with what was going on in the film. I really was into that situation. Other than that, the climax, not really care about it. Some of the action scenes that went in between, especially that gap period, not really interested in that. The love story, it's okay. The teenage love, what can I tell you? I think the one thing that bothered me was the goddess of love. I think that was the whole thing, because I'm like wondering, am I supposed to really take this character seriously? I think she did have some redeeming qualities when she realized that this person is not a greedy person who's lusting for a woman. His love was actually was true to the one love that he was trying to save, and in return, after realizing that, hey, that every mortal that they come across who is like that, she was willing to help help him as best as possible. So I really did thought, at least in her last bit sacrifice, I thought she did. I thought that was actually the redeeming quality you have. Again, it is the hype of this movie. All the negative hype was justified with everybody, saying how bad this film is and how much it's whitewashing. Hey, listen, I would have agreed if it was actually based on actual and empathy. It's
popcorn action, mixed with some special effects. I can't take it as it is. Can you honestly believe that any Egyptians gonna look at this film and actually recognize it as, yeah, that's actual true events? This actually happened at this certain time. No Egyptian's gonna do that. No, should they? No one, even in Africa, is gonna take this seriously. And I'm not gonna take this seriously. It's just an action film. That's it. A science fiction fantasy action film, and that's all I gotta say for it. On a scale of 1 to 4 is 2 stars. Again, there's a lot to shake your head for. Again, I kind of wish that that the producers who make these films stop, substituting
all these effects with a good script. That's the best I can say about it with this movie. Granted, if you're going to at least make or you make a special effect masterpiece, put it on some good effects because there's a lot of stuff there I just couldn't take seriously. The armor, them changing into to these costumes, didn't really quite vote well with me. But that's just how it is. I felt there still was enough to say, okay, it's not great, but they had some moments that I actually liked. And that's it. I mean, that's all I got to say about it. I don't regret seeing this film. I mean, again, this film, at least it left me with a smile on my face and say, yeah, this film is crazy, but it ain't that horrible that many people was making it out to be. It's bad only because, again, poor scripting and not so good special effects and too much relying on special effects. Other than that, visual was fine. Some of the action films, some of the action sequences I did enjoy. The actors, I'm gonna tell you, they're trying too hard to be something that they're not. But otherwise, I can't say then say, oh, these actors are horrible. Again, I've seen a whole lot worse. I can tell you, I can make a list of how many bad sci-fi films I've seen over the years. Unfortunately, this is not going to make that list. But you may disagree. You may actually seen this film and think it's garbage. I like to hear your opinion on this. I like to hear what you have to say about it. Let me know in the comment section below. Until next time, J77 saying take care, be safe. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.